I think we can get started. There'll be more people come through. Just a note to say that this is being recorded. So in the questions, if you don't want to be involved in the recording, feel free to just send me a message on the chat. But yeah, welcome everyone to the sort of inaugural FlatPack webinar. I'll just share my screen so we can have a look at an agenda for it. One moment. So yeah, in a moment we'll have an introduction to CCG and capacity building in general. This will be delivered by Rudolf, who's CCG's sort of capacity building person in chief. And then I'll give a short presentation on what FlatPack is, what CCG does, what we expect, on the university side, the different ways to engage with it. And then after that, the majority of the session hopefully will be dedicated towards just hearing a few testimonials from some of our partners across Africa and Southeast Asia. So yeah, without further ado, I'll hand over to Rudolf, who will just provide a little introduction to CCG and to and the capacity building offer that we provide, and how FlatPack fits into all of that, and how FlatPack kind of interacts with everything else. And then I'll take over from there. So yeah, Rudolf, over to you, please.
Thank you, Fynn. I'm audible just fine, yes?
Yes, all good.
Perfect. Thanks, Fynn. So hello, everyone. For some reason, the camera is not turning on, but if you want to see what I look like, please do feel free to look me up on LinkedIn. Pleasure to have all of you here. So just quickly to talk to you about the CCG ethos, where does FlatPack fit into this, and what's the idea behind this? So for those of you who don't know, CCG has been operational for around 4 years, moving into the 5th year, and we've been focusing on supporting capacity building in the Global South and ensuring that this is done in a sustainable manner. We hold a number of different events, such as the Energy Modeling Platform for Africa, the Energy Modeling Platform for Asia and the Pacific, and Latin America. And through these, we ensure that we're building sustainable capacity for the long run. And one of our focus groups is academics, who we want to support specifically in terms of ensuring that academics have high quality open source tools that do not cost anything. They receive training in this, they're able to utilize this for research purposes and driving their government agendas for energy planning and otherwise. So as a general ethos, we're all about sustainability, empowerment, and local ownership when it comes to energy modeling and energy planning. Over to the next slide, please, Ben. So to talk to you a bit more specifically about what's the capacity building offer in international partnerships at CCG, essentially we have somewhat of a ladder scheme whereby a person can climb up the ladder and build further capacity as they progress. Our first step is usually the Open Learn Collection, which is a suite of free self-administered open university courses that anyone can take at any given moment. And after doing these, they receive a certificate verifying that they have basic knowledge in a given energy modeling tool, methodology, or process. After that, one would move on to the energy modeling platform, where they focus essentially on in-person capacity building for 3 weeks, developing a case study. And this is the one where usually most academics that come into whatever they produce there ends up either turning into a paper at some point, or they end up utilizing this to embed courses in their university curricula or otherwise. Suppose now you have done the Open Learn Collection, you've come to an EMP, then you want to continue doing research or developing something. We have the community of practice that supports you in this. Essentially, if you have any questions, you're unsure of how to proceed with a certain tool, you have troubleshooting issues, the community of practice supports you with this. Then along the path of these, there's 2 gray elements that are much longer term engagement than these ones. So you can think of the Open Learn Collection, the energy modeling platform, and the community of practice as a one-off engagement, but then we offer also much more long-term engagement. One of them is the FlatPack program, which is the one that we'll be discussing today. And the FlatPack program essentially focuses in embedding our modeling tools and knowledge products in university curricula and offering this to students to create a constant supply of energy modelers in your given country. Then we'll dive into much more the details of that, but that's essentially that in a nutshell. And then the boot camps are long-term engagements where we build capacity, support with research paper publication, support with the FlatPack embedment and other processes. But that is not the purpose of this call, so I'm not going to go much more into depth of this. Next slide, please. So where does FlatPack fit in CCG's capacity building? It is one of our core instruments because it aligns completely with our sustainable capacity building vision. What this means is that the FlatPack ensures that there's new students all the time learning tools that they can utilize then in work, research, and otherwise. It essentially ensures that a country does not have to rely on a constant stream of consultants supporting them with their energy planning activities and otherwise, but instead can have their own staff do the planning that they need to do. And by having trained academics and embedding the teaching material in university, we have a constant stream of new modules. Furthermore, the FlatPack fits directly in CCG's longer-term vision in providing MSc scholarships through the Catalyst facility. So what this means is that at CCG, we're working very hard to set up what is known as the Catalyst facility. It is almost there. And the purpose of the Catalyst facility, one of the purposes, will be to fund students for master's program in universities that have embedded the FlatPack. So that means if your university has embedded our teaching materials and teaching tools and energy modeling tools, then your university, after passing a quality assurance test, is eligible for scholarships. So that means we will support you in paying for students so that they come and undergo your master's program. That's essentially where this all fits in a nutshell. I think that is all from me. So back over to you, Fynn, to talk about the FlatPack in detail.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Rudolph. If anyone has any questions about that first element specifically, like the capacity building offer beyond FlatPack, then please feel free to ask them in the chat, and Rudolph can kind of try and answer them as we go on. But yeah, for now, I'll go and just give a brief intro into FlatPack. Hopefully, this won't take too long, and we can just hear a bit more about the specifics of how this has worked in other places. So, as Rudolph mentioned, what is FlatPack? It essentially helps universities, especially in LMICs, integrate open source energy and financial modeling tools into teaching and also research. So why do we do this? We do this because it helps enhance this teaching and research. It helps publish, get original research papers published within teams in LMICs, but also, and crucially, it creates this steady pipeline of qualified individuals to support government planning efforts. So something we see in a lot of what we do at CCG is we build capacity in the Ministry of Energy in a specific country. Those specific people get those skills, but they don't necessarily pass them on to the next generation of modelers or anyone else. And so they, do their job for a bit and then move on, get a promotion, move into a different role that doesn't necessarily include the technical modeling. And those technical skills are sort of lost and require, further training from people like us. However, if we have FlatPack embedded in a local university, it means that young students in their masters, their bachelor's programs, or their PhD programs, they're learning these skills early on, and it means that they can then jump straight into a job in a planning department, in a utility or a ministry or wherever, and hit the ground running basically. So as a result of this, also links research with policy really nicely and just unlocks these opportunities for impact. It just opens a lot of opportunities for the student, but also for the instructor, the lecturer, as you'll see now. So there are a couple of other incentives associated with the FlatPack, aside from just the inherent ones of integrating it into the course. As Rudolph mentioned, we have this Catalyst facility. So courses that successfully integrate FlatPack or implement it and meet certain quality standards. So you have to pass a quality assessment process. They may be eligible for Catalyst facility support. So what does this include? This includes scholarships. So, help for talented students or a select amount of students to fund their MSc studies or PhD or BSc, for example. But it can also be helpful for academics themselves. So if you're an academic that has integrated FlatPack in a specific course, you could unlock scholarships for students in that course, and also for yourself, you can unlock these mini sabbaticals or writing retreats. And the idea behind these is that you are able to go to our partner university, the International Centre for Theoretical Physics, and do 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks long sabbatical where you either scope out a new research project or finish writing an existing one, or scope a project and write it and submit it for publication all in that time. So it's just really a kind of a way of supporting people in pushing research over the line. Um, Also part of the process is earning these badges. So there are two different badges that you could be eligible by successfully implementing FlatPack and meeting these quality standards. One is this trainer badge. So by doing this, you can earn two different types of trainer badge, an associate trainer or a lead trainer. And by getting this accreditation, it qualifies you to be involved in CC-led training events around the world. So you might be familiar with our EMP events, and we host these regularly and in regions, so in Africa, in Asia, and in South America, and then a global one in Italy. But we also host country-specific ones. So there's one EMPN coming up, which is in Nigeria. So by having these badges, you have the opportunity to be involved in these as a trainer rather than as a trainee. And then finally, we have these coach badges. So this is a bit more specific to FlatPack, and it essentially allows you to share your experience or your success of integrating these tools. Gives you the opportunity to mentor others and just helps build your professional profile. Um, so how can you get involved? There are two different ways. One is to engage with the Teaching Kit website. So this is what we call a kind of an autonomous integration, and this is much more. What that means is basically you are in charge of how you do it. So we provide the material that will enable you to integrate these tools, but we won't provide the kind of hands-on help in integrating it. And so depending on where you are with your sort of understanding of the tools and how easy it is for you to integrate them into curriculum, this might be the easiest way to go for you. The other one is the FlatPack Bootcamp. So this is a lot more selective. You make an application online for this, and so it's a bit more. It's limited in the sense that there's only a set amount of people that we can accept for this. But what it does is has a lot more hands-on help from CCG. So we provide all the learning material that is found on the Teaching Kit website, but also access to CCG experts who can help advise on how to integrate that material, how to adapt it to your context, and other kinds of support, like access to training events, for example. So I'll just go into a bit more detail on both of those. It's worth noting that it doesn't matter which one you go through, you can still have access to these incentives. So whether you go through the Teaching Kit website or the FlatPack Bootcamp, you still have access, or still potentially have access to the Catalyst facility and the badges. So just so first of all, we've got the Teaching Kit website. So on the right-hand side here, you can just see a little screenshot of the different tools available. We actually have a few more tools than this. I think there are 6 courses available at the moment. They cover MAID, OnStove, Onset, Osmosis, and FinPlan. And we have a finance track that's going to be uploaded really shortly. But in each one of these courses, you can find a course outline and syllabus. So this just provides like an introduction to the course, what the learning objectives are of the course, how long the course is expected to take in terms of class hours, lab hours, and individual student dedication. It also outlines what the technical requirements are of using the tool and provides a really short syllabus. We then have an example timetable. So that really just breaks down the syllabus into sort of hourly slots, and in week chunks. Again, this is quite rigid, but it provides a sort of a kind of framework for you to work with. So the idea is that you take a look at these, you see how it can be done, and then you change it according to your own needs. You can find a reading list which just contains key publications and also manuals for the tool. um, and lecture slides and hands-on exercises. So these are the real kind of learning materials that are provided. Um, and yeah, with all of these courses, it sort of takes you from an introduction to the tool. So you can see all of these introductory courses and builds you up builds the students up into then creating their own like national model, basically. And it does that through these lecture slides and hands-on exercises. One thing to note with these two things is that they're completely editable. So they're not locked. You can change the content as much as you want. And we actually encourage that. We really think it's really valuable for you to take these lecture slides and adapt them to your own context. Add some more slides that are specific to Ghana or wherever you're from. Add a new hands-on exercise that talks about how to calibrate a certain industry that's specifically important to your context. And that's actually something that's really highlighted in the quality um, assurance process to access the Catalyst facility. In order to do that, you need to demonstrate that you have produced some original learning material that goes beyond what we provide initially. So here's just an example of the timetable, an example timetable. This is for the model for the analysis of energy demand. And here you can see it's split up into three phases. The first phase is kind of introductory, laying the groundwork, learning how to set up the model, and learning about the specific sectors. Phase two then is more kind of intermediate, and this goes into a bit more detail on the sectors themselves, what the specific equations are, etc., and goes into some more advanced hands-on exercises. And then phase three is what we call the project phase, and that's when students will be grouped up and they'll go away and create a model for their country and come up with some research questions, some scenarios, and some initial analysis and produce a report out of it. So this is generally what the course looks like on the Teaching Coat website, but it might change depending on what tool you look at. Some of them are a bit more intense, some of them are a bit less intense. And then here we have the kind of final feature of the website. It's this sort of submit material feature. So if you have created any original material, you have a sort of course that you've created and want to share with the community, you can do this. So you just go in the submit material section and you fill out all these boxes, you upload your material, and it will be sent to us. We can then review it and then release it to the website as well. So that just is a really nice way of encouraging this kind of community feedback. And I think it's really useful as well when people might translate courses. I know that at the moment through this website, they're only available in English so far, and I really want to extend that towards other different languages, whether it's French, Spanish, Portuguese, or others. So if you have done that, please do make use of this function, and it just allows us to disseminate these material to a wider audience. We then have our second process. So this is FlatPack Bootcamp. This is the more assisted version. And as you can see here, it's a sort of, I guess, 4+ month engagement. What will happen in the first couple of months is that you'll be accepted onto the program after you'll do an application, you'll get accepted, and then you'll attend your first energy modeling platform. So this really depends on who has applied for the boot camp. If they don't have any experience in the tool, then we'll send them to get that experience at the next EMP. After an EMP, we'll then engage with you we'll put you in touch with your CCG expert, and they will help design an appropriate curriculum depending on what your objectives are and how much time you have available. It can vary depending on the institution and the module that you want to include the tools on. Sometimes you might have only 10 hours to dedicate to the tools, in which case we can kind of help design a really introductory course. Other times, you might have quite a lot of time to dedicate, and we can then kind of explore a sort of full course. Hopefully, after about 4 months since being accepted, you'll be in a position to be able to sort of propose the integration of this tool into a curriculum. In this sense, there's sort of limited amount of help that CCG can provide in that we don't know your own internal processes. So it's very much the responsibility of the instructor or the partner in the university to get these enhancements accepted. But once they have been, and once there is once it's been integrated into a course and it's being taught to students, then CCG will continue to engage and provide ad hoc technical support when it's necessary. You might find that, in your first year, you come up with problems that you don't necessarily understand yet, and so the expert can come in and just advise on how best to solve this. Um, Once it starts getting taught, the quality assurance process can be sort of engaged with. So after 1 year, basically, of integration, you're allowed to, or you're allowed to apply for or submit your material for quality assurance, and that once you've passed that, then you'll be able to access the Catalyst facility, or you'll be able to then apply for the Catalyst facility funding, which will then give you access to scholarships for master's students and potentially writing retreats. So that's the whole kind of process. It can take, I mean, it really depends on the context of the university, but it can take anywhere between 6 months to a year to do the whole thing. You'll see here that we have steps 1 to 7 highlighted between these points. So that's these steps here. And this just really breaks down what the engagement looks like in a bit more detail. So we review your instructor experience, take you to an EMP, review the curriculum, get the curriculum enhancements approved, and then we adopt and continually engage. And I think this continued engagement and the curriculum review are those two key core elements that make this process quite unique. What are the other sort of resources, I suppose, that are available? So recently we've set up a discourse community. This is just a open source community. It's accessible through the link here on the slide. And it's really to create a community of people that have done this and want to do this. So, we encourage everyone to sign up to this and ask any question they want basically about it. It's kind of designed to be a non-technical one. So if you want help troubleshooting osmosis, there's a separate community for osmosis. If you want help troubleshooting onset, there's a separate community for that as well. Here, the idea is to sort of ask questions about, if you're struggling to design a suitable curriculum, you might want to ask there, and you'll get people who have done it before can help you. Also a really good place to just network professionally. Hopefully most people that are engaging with FlatPack will be part of this community, and will just be able to support in any way. And it can also be helpful for just seeing how other people have navigated these sometimes quite complicated internal processes for adapting what's taught on specific modules. So I really encourage everyone to sign up to that. And yeah, finally, what tools are available? So essentially any tool that we've taught on an energy modeling platform can be available for FlatPack, but these are the ones that are, kind of have the most support behind them already, and are the ones that are available on the Teaching Kit website. So we have Osmosis, which is the open source energy modeling system. This is your sort of core capacity expansion, least cost capacity expansion model. We then have MADE, the model for the analysis of energy demand. This generates or simulates the energy demands across all the different sectors and across all different fuel types that can then be used in a supply analysis using osmosis. So it's really important for creating that baseline. We then have Clues, which is very similar to osmosis, but extends the scope of the analysis towards land use and water use within the context of energy and climate. Onset is our open source spatial electrification tool. This is a geospatial tool that looks at least cost options for electrifying countries. And an OnStove, which is really similar, but looks at clean cooking rather than electrification. And then finally, FinPlan, which is the financial analyses of electric sector expansion plans tool. And this is essentially a project finance tool developed by the IAEA, and is really useful for sort of going beyond the techno-economic and looking more at the minutiae of the financial situations. So like I said, these courses are all available on the Teaching Kit website. But if you are interested in other tools that you see advertised on the energy modeling platform, events, then those can also be engaged with. So where are we already kind of working slash making an impact? Here you can see on the map all the countries that we have ongoing flat packs and completed ones as well. You'll notice that it really extends across the world, so it's available for anyone, anywhere. Um, the nice thing about the Teaching Kit website is anyone, anywhere can access it. So you don't have to come from an LMIC in order to access those resources. And yeah, on the left-hand side here, you can see the partners that we've worked with, mainly focusing in Latin America, to integrate tools into curriculum. Um, so yeah, I think at the moment we're working in sort of approaching 30 different institutions in around 20 different countries. So it's and we'd love to extend that out. Um, so yeah, I think now would be a good time to look at some testimonials. I can see there's a question here. Can two different schools within the same university apply for the FlatPack? Yes. So I encourage you to, I mean, in a lot of cases, it has been the case where sort of one department has engaged with FlatPack and another one has also engaged with FlatPack. That's totally fine. To apply for the FlatPack bootcamp, we encourage people to apply in teams. So at least two or more people to apply. And that just means that, if we are working with the same university, it's all sort of captured in the same process, which can make it a bit easier to just sort of be successful in that regard. So if you know of anyone who would also be interested in FlatPack, they encourage you to apply for the bootcamp at the same time. If it's the case that someone is already engaging with FlatPack and you want to as well, then it could be that you join their team or you just apply independently as well. Um, so in terms of testimonials, we have a few people on the call who have um, integrated FlatPack already and have found various success. So I'm going to call upon them kind of randomly. Let me just get the list up. Okay. Yeah, so I think Nam, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Hi, great. Awesome. Great to see you. Yeah, if you could just provide a little short outline of how you initially engaged with CCG and what you did, how you integrated the tool that you've integrated into your course, how you kind of found success with that, and whether you had any issues with that and how you solved those issues. And then yeah, what the impact of it has been. That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fynn. Yeah, so we got a chance to know about FlatPack quite early, so that we have applied the tools that Fynn just presented in our university in different levels. So firstly, we have some lecture joined EMPG last year, and to learn different tools there. And the one who study geospatial, Dr. Huấn, after he came back to teach, he already integrated geospatial in the teaching of the subject called Geographical Information System. And that makes the subject more interesting for the student and got better feedback from the students as well. To date, it's already the third semester, which is the running semester right now, that he's using the information, the knowledge that he learned from geospatial, and also some kind of materials to integrate in the GIS subject in our university teaching. That is for bachelor program on environmental economics and management in our university. The second thing is we also in our university is the National Economics University. We have a very close relationship with the government of Vietnam, and we have continuously request from the government to provide training for government staff on different things. And so last time we organized a short course of 2 days to introduce for the government staff and also early career academia. So different lecturers from different university in Hanoi about different tools, open source tools from CCG, and it was also Naomi Tan also attended and presented about the tools online, which was really helpful for us. And after that, we received very good feedback from the government staff, and also we established a community of energy modeling in Vietnam, and it's not limited within energy, but it's more like community for modeling. So we're still refining the name of that community, but it's already there, and people are still exchanging ideas. Although we are in Vietnam, we are not using WhatsApp so often, so that we use also another channel to communicate. It's Zalo, and the third thing, which is I think it is the focus of our work, Vietnam CCG network this year, is to support the development of the bachelor program on environmental technology and sustainability. This program will be taught in English, and it will include many subjects, new subjects, and will start in 2026. So this is a unique opportunity for us to include from the beginning some, not only one, but some CCC tools to our curriculum. And I'm lucky enough to be the one who in charge of leading the development of the program in our university with the approval of the Ministry of Education and Training. So to date, we already built the necessary documents for the program, and now we are finalizing the curriculums of and the teaching materials of the subjects, and we already included a Fynn plan in the subject called cost benefit analysis. We also included osmosis and clues in environmental modeling. So the next step would be more challenging, although we believe with the teaching kit web and also the FlatPack bootcamp, we think that we will gonna have some great help from CCG to build and develop the subjects according to what we need, and also to get it finished in 2026, so that we can make everything ready for the students. Yeah, the whole universities know about our plan, and so we very grateful to have CCG support for the development of the bachelor program. That will be our main focus in the year of 2025 to 2026. And so yeah, definitely still a lot of things to do, but yeah, good way ahead. Yeah, thank you very much, Fynn.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Nam. It's great to see the progress that you've made in quite a short amount of time. Like creating a whole new master's course is awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Just as a reminder, if anyone wants to ask a question throughout this whole process, please put it in the chat. We can also, if you want to ask specific questions about someone's testimonial, or please also say that, and we can try and get a response to you. I'll now hand over to Samthin to just, if you could just please, like Nam did, just give a short description of how you engage with CCG, how it supported you with integrating the tools, what tools you have integrated and the impact that has made.
Thank you, Fynn. I hope everyone can hear me. I am Sundisak Phomachan. Actually, I work as a country coordinator for CCG program in Laos, and also at the same time, I also teach and working as a lecturer for National University of Laos too. For the FlatPack activities at our university is started from last year that we will have joined the EMP for develop our capacity for the first case for myself is osmosis program at the time. So after came back from EMP, I myself try to promote those activities to our the leading person in my faculties, and then they agree me to integrate that osmosis into the teaching and learning activities. So, but the problem is we could not make a new subject directly to the existing curriculum. We need to maybe wait for the revision period, which is to come by next year. I hope that. But last year, what I did was I integrate to one subject for the energy forecasting subject, which is the subject I teach. It has some, it need to have some adjustment, of course, and also because this is the first time that we bring such kind of the energy modeling to our teaching activities. So many students may they have not so familiar with this kind of teaching activities. So we need to adapt ourselves to the learner ability as well. But what I found is it was very interesting and also useful at the same time that many of our students, which is the level of master students, all of them are the staff from different ministries and also from different companies who work relevant to the energy in Laos, and they seem really engaged to the teaching and the support for the osmosis program that we provide them for the last semester. And we have now I have one student who continue developing their model and use in his thesis for master degree, and he expected to get some result by the end of this year. Of course, for the support and capacity building, as Fynn mentioned, we have a capacity building workshop. In Laos, we also provide several times for in person, but we also join the online capacity building too. And also, as mentioned, also about the barrier, because of the student and many people here also still very new to the program like osmosis or some open source programs, so they need more time for the adjust and also for the adaptation and also other things. However, for the next step, we want to expand the FlatPack to other program within faculties at National University of Laos in my National University of Laos. We also have other tools called cruise model, climate land water system model, which is highly engaged by faculty of agriculture and forestry. They want to use that program for their master degree teaching activities too. So we will working with them, and also we have the support team for the cruise model from KTH, so they can have like some support and also kind of um, develop the teaching material for them too. And also soon, I think this year we will have what we call is the Green Finance Center of Excellence, which is also the place that will bring several faculties or the expert in relevance to green finance, plus also the climate activities. And that place gonna be a hub for the researchers plus our government people who they can link to each other. Also, another one is also international organization. They can link to each other and sharing the idea of how to integrate such kind of tool like open form from osmosis or cruise model. And also it will be the place for them to take some collaboration and work together to do some research activities using the tool provided from the CCG. That's the thing I can share for now. Happy to talk even more, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer too. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sampisak. It's great to see the finance center being set up, and especially the links between international organizations and government. I think it's something that we always really want to try and emphasize is making sure that it's not just, just centered in academia, but there's a sort of practical application to this learning as well. A reminder as well, we're also supporting some partners in Ethiopia deliver some training to local government and regional government planners. So if this, as part of the FlatPack, it's not only can we support delivery of master's courses and PhD courses and bachelor's courses, but also we can help organize short professional courses that are aimed towards planners within utilities and within government. Awesome. So thank you for that. We'll now go to Bernard. Are you there? If you'd like to share your experience, that would be wonderful.
Okay, thanks, Fynn, and good evening from Uganda. Well, it is already evening here for the day. So briefly, my story is quite different from so far what I've listened. It was in 2021 that I enrolled and trained in osmosis myself. I was by then a student in advanced level at the PhD. We had done energy modeling as a course on the PhD program. And when I completed the osmosis track, I saw what osmosis does and what value it is to the program. But so I teach at the Department of Applied Economics. We have a PhD and a master's program or degree in energy economics and governance. So when I finished the osmosis track, I came back, experience from what I had gone through on the course when I was a student myself. I thought that I should introduce osmosis to the course because of what I'd gone through and what I saw relative to what they were being taught earlier on the course. So what I did when I came back, I made the report to the head of department. I presented what we had gone through. And then I proposed that osmosis is part of the curriculum on the energy modeling course. Certainly, I had to answer two questions. One, if we bring this tool to the course, are students going to be in a position to access the materials, access the trainings, related materials to this? Because the university was not ready to put money into that. And two, the second question was, who is going to teach the course? I offered myself. I wasn't very strong at that time. teaching the course, but because of the experiential learning that I had received through our trainers and peers, I was confident enough that I would at least deliver or share the same knowledge with students on the course and the program. So the first question was easy to answer because I knew I had access to osmosis training, the tool itself, and the starter kits and whatever freely, which I still do up to today. So that wasn't a problem. And the second one who was going to teach, I offered myself to do that because at the department, no one had ever interfaced with osmosis or used it on the course. And so that is how I started. So the 2 semesters after when the course is offered, I merged the content for osmosis on the course. And so we share a course with my colleague. I took over the osmosis part and then he took over the other sections of the course, which combined make up what we call the energy modeling course. So, and that's how my story started and pushed. So every year I have about between 18 and 26 master students that are on energy economics and governance that we teach. And therefore, and because energy modeling is a core course or compulsory course for the program, so they must go through it. And that's how it became easier for me to integrate it in that course. And that's what we have been doing. So largely it's about the teaching. Of course, it has not just been smooth because we know for most of these tools, as you know them, they are quite heavy. What I have personally struggled to integrate into, given that you only have 45 hours to teach the whole course, and which I have to divide with my colleague to teach the other part. So I had to restructure the content around osmosis by at least going through the basics so that students can leave training or the course with some hands-on piece. So just like I went through myself before the course or the semester starts, I alert students who are going to take the course because they do it in the year 2. So I ask them to take 3 weeks before the semester starts, create some time and access the Open University and complete the track. And after they have completed the track, then we converge in class and I walk them through what osmosis, which most of the things they have now done. So we walk through the tool, the interface, how to run it, how to feed into that data preparation file. We demonstrate all those steps, we create some scenarios and run, get results out and interpret. So that is basically where we stop given the time, but I always push them to see that afterwards they can continue with it, and that's why this can be integrated. Fynn, I don't know if I can answer any other question is specific to that, but that's what I wanted to mention for now.
Thank you so much, Bernard. I think that's really useful and clear. I like how, when you doing the course, you adapted it to sort of fit the time frame you have. I think in many cases, people won't have a huge amount of time to be able to teach the full course, and so the way you've structured it to provide an introduction and sort of initial hands-on experience really just sets people up to be able to then further their skills if they want to use it in a research project or in a PhD, or if they want to use it professionally, they have a really good basis to build upon. So I like this example just because it highlights the fact that you don't have to go from zero to expert within this course. It can be that you go from zero to intermediate, and it just builds the foundation to build upon later on. So thanks for sharing that. I believe next we'll go with Mwansa. Mwansa, are you there? If you could just give a brief overview as to the process that you followed to integrate the tools into your course, and what the impact has been, and what the next steps are for you at University of Zambia.
Thank you, Fynn. I have a cough, so my voice may not be that clear, but I hope I'm audible.
You're good. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, great. So I'll just basically share my journey, a very short journey. So basically, I was trained in MAID, a fully sponsored training in Ghana in 2024. And after the training, there was an opportunity that was laid to facilitate the integration of FlatPack energy modeling tools into our master's program. It was quite an exciting opportunity because as a supervisor and lecturer, we've always struggled with energy modeling in our programs. So when I got back to my country, we first identified two programs that were well suited for at least two modeling tools then. So we identified two master's programs called Master of Renewable Energy Engineering and Master of Electrical Power Engineering. So as of this year, because our master's programs are split into two semesters. So that's basically coursework, then 1 year of research work. So in the first semester, we integrated MAID in the Master of Renewable Energy Engineering, where we had about 36 students successfully completing the MAID um, syllabus, which was contributing to about 10% of their assessment. And out of these students, already most of them are trying to align their research work in the direction of energy forecasting using MAID. When it comes to challenges, or maybe I should mention that at this point we have support from the dean. He gives the final say when it comes to these things. So I had an opportunity to first talk to the heads of departments that were in charge of these programs. Rudolph had an opportunity to present these opportunities and they bought into the idea. Then later on, that was taken to the dean for School of Engineering, who accepted, endorsed, and notified our deputy vice chancellor. So in terms of challenges, I think the biggest challenge that was faced was the the weighting of 10%. The students felt that that weight did not reflect the effort that is required. And this is something that we're working on for next year. We're supposed to have osmosis this semester, which ran between July and it's ending in October. But the person that was supposed to facilitate seemed not to be ready. So I think maybe just as a suggestion, I think it's important that those that are trained, especially that those that have intentions to teach some of these energy modeling tools should be engaged on a more regular basis, because his reasoning was he's forgotten most of the things that he trained in 2024. So going forward, we're trying to find mechanisms that will ensure that we include these two energy modeling tools in the research component of the masters. We have about 21 programs, master's programs in the School of Engineering, and there are quite a number of tools that could benefit students in those different programs. Then the second one, and I think I've just taken advantage that I heard Fynn say it's possible to actually have them integrated in the bachelor's courses. This is something that I'm now thinking about, and will definitely do the same, including the PhDs. So for now, I think this is what I have to share, Fynn. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Wensa. Yeah, it's interesting what you said about your colleague with osmosis. These tools is one of those cases of, it's often the case that you have to just keep working on them in order to be familiar with it and to be confident that you can continue to teach it. And yeah, it's great to see that you're thinking of expanding it towards, not beyond just masters, but also to PhDs and bachelors. So yeah, keep me posted on that. I think we'll hand over now to Martin Mutembi. If you could just give a short overview. I'm conscious that we're running, we're nearly at the end of our slot. I'm happy to go over the time, but yeah, if you could just give a short overview of how you integrated FlatPack and what the impact has been and what your next steps are.
Yeah, good evening. Fynn, you owe me 30 minutes, but it's okay. Let me compress to 6. So every slide.
Yeah, you've got 5.
But I'm happy to see one of the slides presented captured what I wanted to show, where our Vice Chancellor was in London and having an MOU about the FlatPack. So Martin Tembe working with the Storm Energy Research Center. And our FlatPack is a unique way of implementing. It was the first one. And the uniqueness come in where each person who shared, they are lecturers or they in an academic department. The research center is not an academic department, although we do research, consulting, and training. So to implement the FlatPack, we had to partner internally with the School of Computing and Engineering Sciences so that we are able now to access the Masters in Sustainable Energy Transition students. An interesting engagement in the university where they say research centers normally work in isolation from the academic schools. So this was a very good initiative that showed the way research centers can also work with schools. So, and that's why you could see the Vice Chancellor was really happy to see an innovative way of achieving a common goal between different institutions. So what we did with the School of Engineering Sciences, we sat down and went through the courses that were being offered on the open land courses. And we identified 5, which I was about to show. If only that now I could have given you my slides. We have 5 courses that are being offered through the Masters in Sustainable Energy Transitions. And each of them is mapped to an already existing program course unit. So the 5 include, we have osmosis, which was taught last year to the first batch. And from that batch, we have 4 candidates who are doing their research, and this is based on osmosis, fully catered for. And through a budget in the CCG program called Network Budget, we are going to look at how we fund their research to the point of publication. It's an interesting group, the pioneer group in terms of FlatPack. The next group we looked at will be on the climate and energy water systems. Another one that we look at is on entrepreneurship that looks at electricity playbook and also onset, because most of the students that you find are coming from the engineering courses, although from different institutions, government, and even private sector, whereby they're dealing with businesses. So on innovation, you have to bring in the modeling political economy, plus also the electricity playbook to see how do you go to the electricity transition in the different organization. Another tool that we've really gone forth with is the Energy Access Explorer, especially for business people. Key being developing business projects and proposals that are looking at the geospatial resources around where the businesses are, especially looking at the transmission lines, looking at maybe the solar, wind, irradiance, solar potential, the agricultural area. So quite a lot of advantages of using EA, which is also supported by the WRI itself. So after adoption, what we've done is all these tools, they are given credits. When a student learns the tool, they use it through the semester as a case. And by the end of the semester, they present a case which is part of the exam process. And if they get everything that is required and satisfy the requirements, they get 3 credits. So it was one way to make sure that they are CCG tools, but they are entrenched in the university courses, only that as a tools. Otherwise, we could have been challenged to go to the Commission of University Education because of altering a course. So they are a plus to the already approved and accredited courses. So our next steps, we are looking at developing now executive courses that will be run at the Energy Research Center, although already MSET is running with the School of Engineering. And this one, we are targeting government, especially national and sub-national energy officials who have really expressed the interest based on the work we've been doing the last 5 years in Kenya. And they want to learn more and get hands-on even if they don't get to go to either EMP or EMPG. So this will be could an EMPK for the Kenyan trainees. So we're looking for an executive course, which will look at a combination of what works for government officials in terms of planning and implementation of the strategic direction and policies. And then the other one is already taking place. Our FlatPack concept in Kenya has gone to Taita Taveta University, could say our first child in terms of taking it further. And Taita Taveta University has taken it to, we trained them last year. This year they are training Kenyatta University and other 2 universities. So interestingly is people admire the way it has been adopted in Strathmore, and now they are replicating the same concept in the other universities. So late this week, we're having online trainings, Taita Taveta University training Kenyatta University. And then mid-October, we shall have the in-person training, especially on the clues modeling tool as a start. Then as we proceed, we shall see how to scale up the different other tools on open-land courses on the same. And finally, maybe to bring the African concept, what we have happened is I'm sure Rudolph have seen our request to assist us in translating some of the trainings into French, because we have an AU, Africa Union assignment to train government officials. And I could say those are our big next steps. I'm working with universities in Kenya and also the AU content, especially Sub-Sahara and also the French-speaking, Francophone, French-speaking countries. That's my summary. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Martin. That was just bang on 5 minutes. It's great. And yeah, thank you for mentioning as well the courses that sort of go beyond or are sort of aligned with the modeling but aren't technical modeling. I think it's important to also teach the political economy course and other ones that are not necessarily sort of super technical but really contextualize modeling and ensure that they go, that students have an understanding of the decision-making process as well as the actual technical modeling stuff. And it's great to see that you've found so much success already, and there's big plans to upgrade. So thank you for that.
I can share the presentation I had. You see how we mapped the courses and the courses internally and the tools from CCG, how they are mapped one against the other, maybe for learning.
Yeah, that'd be super useful. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll hand over now to Mahmood finally. Apologies, we are sort of slightly over time on this, but yeah, Mahmood, I believe Felix is with you. And if you could both just, as the others have done, describe how you've engaged with FlatPack, what the impacts have been, and what your next steps are, and any challenges and solutions to the challenges that you've encountered.
So thank you very much. And I also want to thank the other colleagues here. So just to give some background. So actually what we are, the programs that we are having initially, the programs were the sustainable energy engineering and management, which we needed to revise for reaccreditation by the National Accreditation Commission. And during that process, that was the very particular period that we also had won a project, a EU project with TU Delft and also KTH in short form called the EPIC Africa project, where what we are trying to do is to do integrated resource assessment, basically looking at the nexus between water, energy, food, and also ecology. And when that happened, as part of the consortium, our main role as partners was for us to be able to disseminate the outputs of the models that we were going to develop as a result of the project, and also to provide training support for all the various policymakers across the various sectors or the different sectors. within the country. And I think that that is not only all from in Ghana and also Kenya, because then the project concerns the modeling of the Tana Basin and also the Volta Basin here in Ghana. And during that process, we engaged Victoria Martin of KTH and also Edo Abraham of TU Berlin. They all TU Delft. They were all part of the project. And then that was when they provided some kind of information about the CCG program. And fortunately for us, in 2024, it was being hosted in Ghana. So we had an opportunity with 5 staff of the university to attend the Empire Africa in 2024, and what we did was in Clues. So that became the bedrock that we started on. And at those periods also, we were also still in the process of developing or revising the curriculum. So what we did was to then find ways to integrate these tools into the system, because already one thing that we have been doing is that usually the university is not able to all the time to have licenses or to get monies to license the commercial tools that we use for modeling. So what we were looking for was non-commercial tools and also open source tools. So when we realized that we have these tools from CCG, we realized that it was a good way to then integrate them into the curriculum. So what we did was that now in the curriculum, we have courses on energy analysis, optimization, modeling optimization, which we essentially use osmosis for modeling of energy systems. And then we also have a course on Clues on its own, which is also a course that we do also using the osmosis tool for that course. And then we also have a course on energy access, where we try to also then bring the onset on board. And I think that aside that also, we have courses on energy markets and policy. And as part of it, we have to do a project evaluation and all that. So, which then meant that tools like Fynn Plan also became very important for us to also see how that could also be incorporated into this system. And then also we have a course on off-grid appliances where we try to do demand analysis and also demand projection, which then also mean that we needed the MIDE tool to be able to use it for the demand modeling as well. So what we have done is to both the masters and also the PhD in sustainable energy engineering and management, we have these courses anchored within the curriculum as embedded courses, which we have received accreditation on. And actually, we started running the course from last semester. And then also we are continuing from this semester. So last semester, for example, the masters, we trained over close to about 30 students, and then the PhD also around 10 people. And then also aside that, as part of the project that I talked about, what we've been doing is to organizing summer schools. So what we did initially, we did our first one in 24 after we received training from CCG on Clues. And that year in August, that is when we also did the first summer school, where we trained over 30 participants across Ghana. And also this year in August, we finished also running another summer school in August, where we had over 20, and also we had another people from different part of Africa also joining through an online platforms. And then the idea moving forward is that if you look at what is based on the summer schools that we have organized, and also based on the courses that we have, now we have students that are modeling, doing model works using onset, and then also using the osmosis tools. And as we speak right now, I'm here with Mahmoud joining the annual CCG conference, the workshop here in Accra. And one of the things that we are discussing is some of the output of the works that the students have been able to do using these tools. So some of them are making different kind of presentations also under this. And then we have had a lot of discussion with the various ministries, especially Ministry of Energy, and the EPA and other organizations that have also expressed quite a very good interest for support from us to be able to assist them and also provide training support to them as well. So we see that the training that we have been able to do and then the capacity that we have also been able to receive is making an impact within the policy space, because now we can have these models and outcomes discussed in a more positive way. And then we are having the necessary feedback, and what we think will be very important moving forward is how we can then also harmonize the benefits that we have received from CCG to then also mainstream short courses that are just geared towards policymakers, where we provide training support for policymakers and also other people, which we are also now working seriously to get all of them on board. And I must say that that is not the only thing. Recently also, we have gotten accreditations to run programs in energy economics at the MSc, MPhil, and PhD levels, and also energy policy. All these programs, we have integrated courses that utilizes the CCG tools in it. So now in Ghana here, I think that we will be the institution that we have a high number of courses that are using CCG tools for the program. And we intend to also find a way to upscale it to different departments. We are also engaging different departments to also support them with training so that they can also integrate that into their curriculum as well. So those are the things that we have been able to do. Of course, if there are questions, we are open to discuss that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that testimonial, Felix. It's really great to see how many those summer courses you've done and how you want to kind of expand it out towards a sort of tighter focus on working with government. It's a really nice example of how, a couple of people can go to an EMP and then bring that experience back to their university and their country and just have a really direct influence on policy making. So thanks for sharing that. That brings us to the end of our testimonials. I hope everyone's found that really interesting. I'll sort of open the floor for a couple of minutes to just a Q&A. If anyone has any questions for me or for any of the people that have just shared their experience, please share. You can either do that in the chat. I think there's also a Q&A function where you can ask questions. Or if you want, just raise your hand and you can ask it directly in the call. So yeah, if there's any questions, please ask them now. I know that there have been some questions throughout that I've been trying to answer, so maybe everyone's asked the questions they want to, but I'll just give it a couple minutes. Yeah, Mahmoud / Felix. Do you have anything to add?
So thank you very much. Because I found it very interesting when we saw that the new training, you have different pathways where you have the FlatPack bootcamp, because these are matters that I had wanted to raise with you, because I think that the universities are the agent to support the stability of these tools and also to provide continuous training. And the thinking was that there has to be, for example, some slots that are provided for people that are coming to university, especially those that have been able to integrate this into their program, because we realize that there are some faculty members that will also still need those training to be able to deliver, and especially also now that we also intend to also do some short courses to be able to support policy people within the policy space. So I found this new thing to be quite interesting, because then it means that there's a dedicated slots that are going to be allocated for institutions that are on board this pack thing, and I think that is quite a good thing for us, and that was the thing that I wanted to raise. That I wish that you make it some kind of a standing order, so that all the time you have some slot for people coming from the university to support the training. I think that'll go a long way to support the whole thing. And I think that from our side, and also for the faculty members, this is a major concern from them. And then they want us to put it across that it will be very good if you supported the faculties in the university to be able to receive such so that later on we can also then be able to do TOTs within the various institutions to also provide the support. So this is what I wanted to this is what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it's you're right. This sort of launch of the FlatPack bootcamp, which I guess this webinar is kind of doing, really sort of just formalizes this process of securing places at upcoming EMPs if your team is accepted. And I think this kind of relates as well to a question that was asked by the participant earlier in the call, where they wanted to know whether, if they have already done a FlatPack, are they, but members of their team haven't, or sorry, if they've already done an EMP but members of their team haven't, how can they apply? You can all apply if you've already done an EMP. There's the opportunity to return to an EMP as a trainer. So as an associate trainer, get your badge, and then go as a lead trainer eventually. So just upskilling yourself each time. So you don't necessarily have to do the same course in the same way every time. If you it makes sure that there are places available, which is really great. So I see we have a question here on the Q&A thing, which is, how does the FlatPack program fit in for a senior professor working in the domain for the last 35 plus years? I think everyone can engage with this, whether they are junior or senior professors, or doctoral, PhD students who are teaching lessons as well. If you have experience using that tool specifically, so let's say you're interested in integrating osmosis into a module within your university, and you already, you've got a career of using osmosis, you know how to use it, you're an expert in its use, then I encourage you to take a look at the Teaching Kit website, in which case you'll see all of the learning material available, and it will just really streamline that process. So you won't have to make your own original learning material. You can just use what's already, freely available. We do encourage people to take that material and adapt it to their own context, because at the moment it's quite generic, and you might want to add specific slides or hands-on exercises that are a bit more tailored towards the country that you are based in. If you don't have experience using that tool, then you can, similarly to other people, just attend an EMP and get that specific skill trained. So you might have experience in the sector, but not with that tool. And so we'll send you to an EMP. Lots of different people attend these EMPs. It's civil servants and government officials, or from senior levels to junior levels, same in academia, senior academics to more junior ones. I think there's another question in the chat. Yeah, so PhD student doing both osmosis and onset for PhD research, great to hear. yeah, the Scholars Boot Camp. So EMPN, that's coming up. Yeah, Osmosis was not part of the courses on offer for EMPN. That was just due to various logistical reasons. If you're interested in doing the Scholars Boot Camp, we have EMPA 2026 coming up. So that is when's that? In January 2026. So early next year. And I'll just send the link in the chat here to the sign up. So you can sign up to this. When you sign up to this, you can apply for any boot camp that you want. So that might be Scholars Boot Camp, it might be FlatPack Boot Camp, or others. And there are a range of different tools that you can look at, from electricity transition playbook to osmosis to onset and on stove. Sorry, not on stove. Oh no, on stove as well. Yeah. So there's a whole range of different tools. And if you're interested in the Scholars Bootcamp, which is much more oriented towards research, then yeah, please apply for EMP on that. And if you're more interested in the teaching side, then go for the FlatPack Bootcamp. Cool. Are there any other questions from anyone? I'm conscious that we're over time now, so if there are any asked questions, please let me know. If you think of a question later on, please email me. I've just put my email in the chat. So it's f.kiley1@elborough.ac.uk. I'll quickly just put it on the screen as well, actually. Yeah, so if you do want to get in touch later on, if you have any other questions, if you want to know just a bit more on how the process works and what CCG offers, please get in touch. My email is on the screen. I'm the point of contact here for FlatPack, so I can let you know anything you want to know. But yeah, if there are no more questions, I'll stop recording now. And there we go. Thank you everyone for attending, by the way. I think it was really nice to see everyone. And it was, really, really nice engagement. And thank you especially to those that provided testimonials. It's always much better to listen from you guys rather than me doing a presentation on, the practical side of how these things have been applied. So thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, if you have any other questions, please get in touch.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.